Mike, welcome to the Mike, the Made in China podcast.
Thank you, Kung Fu Colin.
It's good to be with you. And I do want to start by just getting your life before China. What was your life like back in LA before you came to China?
Oh man, I was doing a little bit of everything. My life was kind of like the Black Forrest Gump. It was like I was in a reggae band at one point. I was a Hollywood DJ at one point. I was a co-owner of a martial arts school where we taught inner city kids and helped them stay out of gangs. Taught them Taekwondo, double black belt, had my double dan from Juncheon Taekwondo in LA, middle of LA. I was acting. I did acting. I did a few TV shows, a few independent films and stuff like that. I was busy, you know. I had just finished school. I had moved to San Bernardino to stay with my grandmother because my mother got sick. So she had to help me get through high school, and I went to college out there. And then I was a licensed psychiatric technician, and I worked at a mental ill facility. I absolutely loved it, but I didn't like living in San Bernardino. And so I moved back to LA because that's where I grew up. And then I was doing all the things LA people do, just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, before I decided to go back to school because I was acting. And, you know, the acting thing was, man, that's hard work, you know, because you're working and then you're not. Then you're working, you're not, you're always hustling. And then when you're hustling, you have to do side actions, side jobs. So I was doing art modeling. I was doing, like I said, DJing. I was doing all this stuff before I decided to go back to school. And then I got my bachelor's degree in criminal justice admin. And then while I was doing that, I met this guy who helped people to relocate to China. I'm like, really? What? You can do that? And he was like, yeah. He says, I help you get your TESOL certificate. So when you finish your university degree, you can contact me and then I'll get you a job in China. I was like, well, I'm planning to go to law school. He said, well, just go to China for a while, get some experience. It'll look good on your resume. I was like, yeah, actually, you're right? So, and I was always interested in China because, you know, it's like most black kids in LA, we grew up on Kung Fu films, you know, grew up on Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, and found it fascinating. You know, we would be in the house on Black Belt Theater Day and then come outside and practice our Kung Fu, and we all wore crocus sacks and karate shoes.
Yeah.
So I was always interested in China. My best friend, when I was around 7 years old, next door neighbor was a Chinese kid named Robert. And he taught me Chinese checkers. He taught me how to use chopsticks, all those cool little things that you find fascinating as a kid when you're introduced to another culture. So that's how it just seemed like it just kind of like things lined up. It was like I was supposed to come here and be here for some reason.
So interesting. So between the neighbor next door and then just in passing, you know, him saying, hey, just travel to China, get it on your resume type of thing.
Right.
You happen to have the opportunity.
Right. And I still keep in touch with his name is Brian Whitman. He's on Facebook. So if you guys are interested in finding someone to help you get your TESOL certificate.
He's still doing it.
He's still doing it. He
That's
can
awesome.
help you get that and, you know, help you find a job. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then you must have loved LA. You named your studio LA.
I love
It's in the name.
everything about LA, you know, except for the traffic.
Oh, yeah.
But all my friends are there. Most of my family is there. We have a big dance community there. You know, salsa is a part of life there. Salsa and Argentine tango. We have salsa bands like crazy. We have free events that's hosted by the city. So that induces a culture for dancing. And, you know, dancing in LA is very machismo. It's very much like what we do as a man. You know, being able to take a lady and make her happy and make her smile and at the same time showing etiquette on the dance floor and in the club is very important. And so, it was a part of me. It became a part of me. I started learning salsa in 2005, I think it was, maybe 2003. I can't remember. And just started growing from there. And I never knew that it would take on this much part of my life, but fortunately it did. It kind of changed my life. I mean, before that, it was around just a couple of years before that, I was doing Taekwondo, and I was fighting in tournaments. And, you know, you come home from a tournament, man, you all beat up, you hurt, and, you know, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And when it comes to dancing, it's all win-win, you know.
No downside.
Right.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So when you first made that first trip to China, that would have been what year? Thereabout.
2012.
Okay.
2012. I remember it was February. It was cold, and there was mosquitoes. And it was like, man, it was like, did I make a mistake coming here? It was like,
Yeah. What was your perception going in? What was your What before you arrived? What was your perception? And then once you got here, what was your take?
I only knew a couple of people who have been to China, so I didn't have any big ideas. I just had an open slate. Everybody was telling me, you're going to be the tallest person there, but they were wrong about that. You know, there's a lot of misconceptions. So when I was planning my trip, I was asking, the headhunter was asking me, okay, we have this city, this city, this city, this city. And so which city do you want to choose? I had no idea about any of these cities. I said, which one is close to Shanghai? And he said, Hangzhou. I said, okay, Hangzhou, maybe it is. I'll pick Hangzhou. So then I went online, started looking up for Hangzhou. Google, there was nothing.
No information on it.
2012, there was nothing about Hangzhou. I think I saw maybe one picture, one article or something. And but now, you know, you go online, you can find everything about Hangzhou. But during that time, it was very, very little information. So I had nothing. I had no preconceptions, nothing to go off of. So I just came here with an open mind, and I got here in the, it was like in the early morning, and the school that I had been set up with had a liaison waiting for me, and we had gotten to know each other by emailing. So she was very cool. Her name was Mona, and she pretty much took me and guided me and kind of introduced me to the culture and made sure that I was okay, and you know, because it's a big cultural. I remember, man, when I got on the plane to come here, I was leaving everything behind. I had rented out my apartment. I had sold most of my things, and I was thinking, well, I'm coming back in a year, so I'm not going to get rid of all my stuff. I had some people hold some of my stuff for me. And I got on the plane, and I felt like I was going to have a panic attack. You know, I was like, my heart started beating fast. I was freaking out. I was like, do I want to get off this plane? I just calmed myself down, and I just went to sleep, pretty much passed out. And when I woke up, I had a layover. I can't remember where. I think it was Hong Kong. And then I got back on the plane, and then I woke up, and I woke up in Hangzhou Airport. Yeah.
Pretty surreal.
Right. Exactly. You know, but it was it's an unforgettable moment because when we drove through the freeway to my apartment that they were setting me up with, because most schools would give you a place to live. I was, you know, looking at everything. I was like, okay, it's a city. You know, it's a city like any other city. Pretty much, it's a freeway like any other freeway. Oh, these cars just like any other cars. So it was, that kind of made me feel more relaxed. It's just, you know, everything's in Chinese, so I couldn't read anything, didn't understand anything. But as soon as I got here, they put me to work right away. So, you know, China's a working country, you know.
Yeah.
If you come here to work and contribute, you're more than welcome, you know.
Sure. So you were on a work visa at that time?
Yeah, on the work visa, and I was working for an English center, and the kids couldn't understand what I was saying. They were always shemiza, tashai shua shema, you know, and I'm like, and my boss was like, you know, don't speak any Chinese. I'm like, I can't speak any Chinese anyway. So
You said, no problem, don't worry about it.
And then, you know, kids, when they see that you can't speak their language, they kind of think that you're stupid, you know, so they sort of start to disrespect you, but after a while, you make them feel comfortable. They start to love you, you know, and start to appreciate you. So, you know, it was a cool transition, and getting to know the kids and being a part of them and teaching here, it was okay. And then I got, I'm sorry, did you want to interrupt with some questions?
No. And I think this is great because,
going, man.
No, and your story is very important, I think, and for people who are listening, it's like, 2012 is really a long time ago in China time, because China's come so far.
Difference.
So this is a very unique,
huge changes.
I do want to understand how it's changed and what it was like back then versus now.
Immense changes. For example, back then there was no subway system. Now you've been here for what, about a year?
Only a year and a half, 2 years.
So you see, we have a subway system that goes
everywhere.
In less than 10 years, the entire, there's buildings that are here, there are parks that are here. I mean, in less than 10 years or 14 years, there's more change I've noticed than 20 years back in LA. And that's no exaggeration. That's not hyperbole. It's the truth.
Right.
What they do here with your tax dollars is they really take the people's tax money and they put it into the infrastructure, and they make it more convenient. I mean, we have we have Wai Mai, we have Kwai Di, you have food delivered like that. Everything is so much more convenient. We stopped using paper money. I mean, people still use paper money, but we stopped using paper money, 6, 7 years ago?
Right. You rarely see it on the street.
Rarely see it. So, I would wish that back home, we had this kind of government, in the sense that our government actually works for the people. Here, because here the government really works for the people. And maybe, I don't know how many of the people realize that, but when you step outside your country and you see how other countries work, especially my country, our country, then you see that things could be better. These can be done better. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's one of even just being here a year and a half, that's been my eye-opening moment. It's like, how is it so, our subway right by our house was built since I first traveled to China in 2017. So when I first traveled, there was no subway, and then there was a subway underneath the street, and I was like, okay. So,
and it's clean. Yeah, it's modern.
This is possible. It's like it's possible to do it.
It's possible, man. If we have the right kind of leadership, it could be done. Definitely.
Yeah. So interesting. So it was kind of, I guess it was very nice for you to not have any misconceptions or perceptions either way. Like, you just came in with an empty slate and you said, hey, I'm going to check out China for what it is in 2012.
Right. And then my plan, like I said, was just to stay for a year.
Okay.
Then go back to...
What happened? I mean, we're in
law school.
We're in 2026.
I hate studying, man. I hate school. I just not part of who I am. So I was thinking 3 years of law school. It'll be great. I'll be in a huge amount of debt, but at least I'll be a lawyer, But so here, when I was here, a couple of things I was concerned about. Will I be accepted, or, how will the people treat me? Especially as a black man, a black American man. Those couple of things you have to keep in mind, because
yeah. What were your experiences around that?
Well, I knew one guy who's black back home who came to China. He said, Mike, if you can speak Chinese, they don't care what color you are. They'll treat you good. You'll be accepted. You'll be treated well. And I'm like, really, man? He said, yep. Because I know that, usually white guys, they can go pretty much everywhere and be okay. But black people, sometimes we have to be concerned where we go. We have to be aware. And he was right, because when I came here, the first thing I had to get used to was people staring. This was 2012. So now I'm sure you go around, they don't stare at you probably too much, or they just, foreigner, just keep going. But then during that time, they would stop. And they would stop and just look.
Point at you and be like.
Man, kids would point, and moms would like, put your hand down. But, they would just stop and stare. And it made me feel uncomfortable. In L.A., another dude staring at you, you're like, yo, what's up?
Right. You're just.
You think it might be a challenge, somebody want to rob you or fight you or something like that. But here, I remember what Mona told me. Mona's my liaison, which I told you about. She was the first person that met me here. She told me, she said, think of it like this. You're like a panda. What would you do if you seen a panda walking down the street? I would stop and stare.
In Los Angeles, yeah.
That's what she said. And she said, how would you feel? I was like, wow, that's a panda. She said, that's what you feel. That's how you are to them. She said, so don't take it as an offense, and don't be thrown off by it. They're just curious. So she was right, because when I started learning Chinese and would go up to people and say ni hao, they'd feel very curious about me, and they want to start asking a lot of questions. First thing they want to know is where you're from, and they want to know what's it like where you're from, and they want to know why did you come to China, because usually Chinese people, especially during those days, they're very humble about China. They feel like China's just a normal place, and America's great, and these foreign countries, these Western countries are amazing, and they all want to send their kids there. It's still like that to a certain degree, but now, because of social media, they can see what's going on more, and they're disillusioned by some of it. They still want to send their kids to America or to the UK or to foreign Western countries because it looks good on the kid's resume.
Top 100 universities.
Yeah. But China's got some universities that are catching up too, so it's changing slowly over time. It's getting better here, better and better.
That's so interesting. Yeah, that you got to even see that change. So they went from, and how much has staring gone down? Would you say from 2012 to now in Hangzhou?
It's gone. You know, now they're used to us. I mean, like I said, when I came here, there was always, you know, white people here, you know, but there was no black people. I mean, the first, I say, 2-3 years that I lived here, I didn't see another black person at all. So, and then I found out that one of their number one celebrities that they loved was Kobe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they didn't have me to compare anybody else to, so they would say, you kind of look like Kobe. I look nothing like Kobe. But they didn't have anybody else to compare me to as far as black people. So I got a lot of love. I got a lot of respect. I got a lot of appreciation. And the second thing I was worried about, would the girls like me, you know, and will I be able to date here? No problem whatsoever. No problem whatsoever.
He said no problem whatsoever.
Not at all. Then I met my wife about, I think, honey, when did we meet? What year did I meet you? She's hiding back there. What year did we meet? Yeah, what year did we meet? What, Mr. Michelle? 2015. That's my wife.
2015.
This is the wifey. Yeah. But before her, I was dating. Like crazy, and then I met her, and I was still dating, and we became friends, and then she became my co-teacher, and then I stopped dating and just hung out with her because she's the most fun person to be with. She's the most interesting person to be with. You want to be with somebody who never. Excuse me. I'm conducting an interview here. Thank you.
She just ran behind the curtain.
You know,
she is amazing.
I used to watch a TV show when I was a kid that it was back in reruns called I Love Lucy. I don't know if you ever heard that show.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Ricky would always go through some crazy stuff with her. She'd always do something crazy. I would always think, why would he stay married to somebody that's so crazy? And now I know why, because she keeps life interesting. My wife's like that. She talks about anything she wants. She has very opinionated views on life and about different people, about different lifestyles. She's curious, and she's beautiful, you know. And then she became a part of this whole thing. When she got into salsa dancing, she was terrible. And then
the honesty.
She couldn't find the rhythm. She couldn't find the beat. She couldn't, But we slowly kept training her, and then we brought some top stars, Liz Lira from LA, Alian Ramirez from Cuba, and she trained hard with them. And the best compliment I ever heard somebody say about my wife when she was dancing, this Cuban guy said, he was staring at her, he says, Ivy dances like a Latina. I was like, wow.
That's a compliment right there.
That's a huge compliment. That means it's natural, it comes off natural.
Yep.
And she does, she looks amazing. If you guys ever see her dance, you'll be impressed. She's an amazing dancer, and she understands the music and the culture. So yeah, it's cool being married to her. I really appreciate it.
So the studio or your relationship with your wife, which one came first? About 2015, then you had the studio running? Or?
No, I was working for another guy.
Okay.
I was working for another guy, a Chinese guy. He had got me he says, quit working at these schools.
Okay, because you were already English teaching. Yeah, that's what I was trying to, okay.
And the school that I was working for, they were just kind of shady.
Okay.
And he says, I'll get you a work visa. You come work for me. I said, okay. So I came and worked for his studio, and I built it up, and we had a lot of students, and it was going very well. But then later on, I found out he's skimming off the top. He was not giving me all, because I was seeing all these students, and I was seeing this
small
many
checks.
Students, and this much money. And so eventually I told him, I said, this is not going to, I can't keep this up. I'm just going to go back to work for another school, which I did. I got a job at another school. And my wife says, let's open our own studio.
There you go.
That's right. And
there you go.
You sure about that? She said, I'm sure about that. And so she got all the paperwork, she did all the business stuff. And
now, how hard was that in China? How hard was the opening, the business side? Has it been tax reporting?
Well, she handles all that stuff.
Okay.
You're married to a Chinese woman, so she handles all that part, and I just come in. I'm the happy guy, fun guy. I don't even talk to people about prices, about signing up, how much it's going to cost. I say, you talk to my wife about that. It's up to me. I let everybody come in here for free, man. I'm a terrible businessman. But it was easy to open up the studio because all the students already knew who we were, and they just followed me over here.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we had another studio at a different place, and then we found this place, and this place is beautiful.
It's amazing.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
And she designed it. She put everything together. She placed everything as it should be. So yeah, she's pretty useful. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And we've been here at this location for about a little less than a year. And the cool thing is, this is something else I want to mention about China, the spirituality of it. You know, back home, we grew up Christian. You know, black people, we grew up in the church, in the Christian church. And for some people, that works out well. For some of us, it doesn't. And I became disillusioned because I see all these horrible things happening around the world, and I see we're pretty much in the same situation. Things haven't gotten much better, and every time things get better, it go back down. You know, so I kind of walked away from the church. But in China, there's no specific, you know, type of church that everybody goes to, but usually every year people will go to the temple, which is the like Ling Temple, Ling Si.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of like Buddhism a little bit. It's not quite Buddhism. I forget what is it, Taoism. And I'm not into that either. I am a spiritual person. I do believe in, you know, the ancestors, and I do believe in life after death and everything like that. But I don't necessarily believe that the way the Bible was written and interpreted and all that stuff that's 100% concrete, because there's too many ways it could be interpreted. So, but the cool thing that China does is they really honor their ancestors. They have a day, you know, Qiming Jie, I think that is.
Yeah,
okay.
I think you're right. My Chinese is not as good as yours. Yeah.
Mine's not that great either, but we'll drive to my wife's, my in-laws, and then we'll visit the ancestors' graves, and then she'll burn paper money, you know,
yeah.
pretend paper money, and we'll do the respect. We show respect to them, and then we go to my father-in-law's and my mother-in-law's deceased family members, and we'll do that. And even when we open up this studio, we burn incense. We did the whole ritual to show respect to the ancestors and to have the ancestors bless us for opening up and starting a new business. And man, I'm not kidding. I see results. I see more results from that than I have being in church for years and years and years. But this is just my own personal testament. I can't speak for anybody else. And I'm not knocking the church. I'm just saying what works for me and doesn't work for everybody. That's what I'm saying. And so what I started doing is I started doing the same thing, but towards my African ancestors. So when we do the honoring of the ancestors for that day, I'll burn incense, and I'll lay out the offerings, you know, the food and the water and those offerings. And I'll say my prayers, my thanks to the ancestors, you know. And I've noticed huge, I can't express how the differences I've noticed, the things that come, the blessings just all of coincidence, the cool things that come to take me to the next level, or to bring more students into the studio. These kind of things are amazing. So the spirituality of China is deep. And I would like to see that more with my people back home. You know, it's not enough to just bury our ancestors in the visit them in the cemetery and put a flower down there. That's okay if that's what you want to do, but I think there's more to it than that. I think the offering of sacrifices, the burning of incense, the actual showing respect to your ancestors. Veneration, you know, I think this is something that
there's something there.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe it's just me, but I think this has something else to do with the growth of China, why China's become so powerful and so a force to be reckoned with, because they all do that. They, like I said, they set a day aside for that, you know. And so my spiritual side says, yeah, that has something to do with it. The fact that they do that, and the fact that they have all this power and they don't use it to abuse it, you know. So I really like that about China. I really like that about the government here.
Yeah, and I really appreciate you sharing that, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions around religion here and spirituality, right? And what people think you can do here versus what people are doing.
And there are Christian churches here.
Yeah.
And there are Christian Chinese here. And there are mosques here.
Yep.
There's a mosque and a church less than maybe 5 miles from each other. And I've been to both of them. And so you can be a Christian in China, you can be a Muslim in China, and there's no problem with it. So, yeah, get past these misconceptions about about living in an authoritarianism country, because America's pretty practicing authoritarianism right now as we speak. It's getting scary. I don't want to get too much into politics.
And it's interesting because you didn't know my situation, but I grew up Christian and in the church, and then I remained Christian, and I've been to church here in China, and I've also been through the traditional ceremonies here as far as the ancestors are concerned, the burial sites and the cleaning of the graves, and then burning that paper money. And I completely agree with you. There's something to that, and I mean it's deep in their culture here in China.
What's the difference between church here in China, Christian church in China, and back home? Because I haven't been to Christian church here.
It's surprisingly very, very similar. Yeah. And what I was shocked to see was like they were talking about Jesus directly, right? Jesus and God. Right. And I wasn't sure, if the Bible was going to be translated in a different way or because we're fed all kinds of stuff back in the States. It's like they're, they have a whole different Bible in this.
Denominations, right.
Yeah, you can go right in there and they have an English translation in service. So it's pretty neat.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just thought so many misconceptions around religion.
Right.
And it's really cool here.
Well, like I said, I don't knock anything. If you're coming with good intentions, and if it works for you, that's cool. It didn't work for me.
No, and I didn't take it as you were knocking anything. I just think it was great that you explained the experience here being so open, where it's, hey, you can participate however and in whatever ways you want, and you're completely accepted in China.
Right. Just be respectful of each other, and it's all good, So.
And we visit that temple more than once a year even, but I know the temple that you're referring
what
to.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, and we'll probably go to, I think it's Shenzhi. It's the temple like down the street from the Grand Canal.
That's probably the name of it, right?
It's right there, and they've got a nice vegetable spot where we go get lunch every once in a while. We'll walk through there, so it's real neat. But yeah, so
how are you dealing with the food in China?
Love the food in China. What about yourself? Yeah,
I had to get over some things, but I love the food. It's delicious, and plus, you don't always have to eat Chinese food. But it's interesting because the Chinese food in China is different than the Chinese food back home.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When I took my wife to visit my sister in New York, we ordered Chinese food. Honey, Ivy Laoshi, stop hiding. So I'm going to let her tell it. What did you feel the difference about the Chinese food in America compared to the Chinese food?
More sweet. Yeah.
But I think it's more like a Cantonese food,
Hong Kong style, yeah.
Cantonese or Hong Kong style. Interesting.
She liked it, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like it too, But the food here, I'm sorry, do you want to say?
It's more like similar like Zhejiang food.
Can you pick her up on the?
Yeah, we'll pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah, we can pick it up.
Okay.
Similar to Zhejiang style food.
Yeah, because this area the food also is more sweet than the other province.
Okay.
So I think it's kind of similar.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a good cook. My wife's got really good taste in food.
See, you lucked out. You got the good cook, the good businesswoman.
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
Mike, do you have any advice on how to land all these?
Learn to dance, man.
Learn to dance.
Or be lucky. When I first came here, I made so many friends really quick because there was already a dance studio here, and they were teaching salsa and salsa and bachata. And the owner of the studio gave me a job right away. He was like, come in and work for my studio. I was like, okay, cool, part-time, no problem. And I stayed there for about 3 months, but the problem is they teach what we call New York on 2 type of salsa.
Okay.
So in LA, we dance LA style on 1 salsa. And it's not just dancing for us, it's culture. It's what we eat, sleep, breathe, everything, we become family. Matter of fact, when I was back home, my friend Phil Cohen and we had started this thing called the Third Street Promenade Salsa Familia. And when we were playing music on the street, and salseros, people dancing salsa from all around, would come to dance salsa in Santa Monica on the street, on 3rd Street Promenade. They're still doing it today after I left. They gave me a big send-off. But it's family, man. I mean, those days, there was no bachata. We just danced salsa, salsa, salsa. And then after we danced from 6 to 9 on the street, we went to another hotel and danced there until 1.
You guys were living.
That's living, man.
You guys were living.
You go home tired, but so happy. And you know everybody, these people become your family. You go to each other's houses and eat. You do other things together. So this guy gave me a job at a studio. It was only one dance studio here in Hangzhou during that time. Mm. And like I said, they were dancing New York style on 2. And I've been to New York and I danced. And this is not a slight on New Yorkers.
But New Yorkers, watch out! Watch out!
I'm just saying, you guys need to tone down the ego. On 2 is cool. I like it, and some of the amazing dancers come out of New York. But I went to dance in this club in New York, and the girl actually walked off the dance floor on me. Walked off the dance floor. Now I'm saying I know my salsa was still very basic, but still she could have been nice about it. In LA, that never happens. If you suck, they'll bear through it, and they might not dance with you on the second dance. But
meet you halfway.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that. And man, I was like, after that, I was just sour from New York.
You had to fly back over to LA.
Man, in LA, everybody's cool. We dance for fun. We don't dance for ego. We dance for excitement. We dance for the community, for family. And so this guy gave me a job at his studio, and they was dancing New York on 2. So he taught me how to dance New York on 2. He taught me how to teach New York on 2 because it's different. And as much as I liked it, as much as I got good at it, it's still my culture. It's LA on 1, man. So
yeah.
And so I said, thank you. I really appreciate it. But I went and started teaching at another studio, and they let me do my own thing there. And we just blew up, started blowing up bigger and bigger and bigger. And then from that studio, I went to work with the guy that I told you.
Yeah.
Who got me the work visa. And then I stayed with him for about 2.5 years. My wife's like, let's open LA Soul.
And then here you are.
Here I am.
Unreal.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So how has living in China changed you, would you say?
So many ways, back home, we hear a lot of negative things about China. And I never knew where it came from, Why? Why should China be considered our adversary when they're one of our biggest trading partners? They've always been. We've always helped each other out. Can you imagine if America and China were like best buddies? Forget about it. We'll be awesome together. For me, it's humbled me a lot. We have this thing back home called American exceptionalism, where we actually believe we're the greatest country in the world, And in a lot of ways, we are a great country, considering the fact that you can be from anywhere in the world. You can come to America, you can help write our laws, help change our laws. And, you can establish rules and regulations from just coming from anywhere in the world. We are a country of immigrants. But being in China's more collectivism. They come together to get things done. And everybody think, I remember hearing Dave Chappelle says, everybody in America is racist and everybody in China is Chinese. But, and I love Chappelle. But China has 56 ethnicities, man, and they all have different cultures within the culture. My wife, she's from Jinhua. When her and her family and her sister are speaking, it's not Chinese at all.
You can't understand a word.
Can't understand a word. Yep. Some words are thrown in from Mandarin, but it's completely different. So what has changed me the most about living in China is becoming more humble and becoming more appreciative of Chinese culture, the people. It's nice to feel safe. I never had to worry about somebody pulling out a gun on me or somebody shooting up kids in the school here. I never had to worry about when I'm teaching at school, somebody running in with a shotgun or what is it, MK, whatever they call it. I'm not.
Yeah, we don't even know about them anymore.
Right. We don't have to worry about that stuff here, man. I've been in a couple of scraps. I've been in 2 fights in China. You want to hear about them?
Interesting. Yeah. We definitely do.
Okay. The first fight I've been in China, it was actually at a salsa club, believe it or not, because back home we've never been in a fight. We don't have fights in salsa club usually. There was a drunk guy, big Chinese dude, and the girl who was one of who I was at the time working for the first studio that I came, the New York studio. And there was a girl who worked there, and she was trying to get away from this guy, and she had jumped behind me. I'm like, don't know what's going on. He's trying to reach around her. I'm just like, stop, just leave her alone. And he's trying to move me out of the way, so I give him a little push. And I pushed him harder than I thought because he went back, but he was a little bit drunk. And then the owner of the studio was like, just go inside, go inside. You're a foreigner, you don't want to get in, you know.
Right, try to protect you from trouble.
Right, this is like 2013, something like that, so I'm still brand new. So the guy comes in, chasing after me, and I take him down. You know, I'm still black belt taekwondo and hapkido and all these, so I had some training. And I pinned him down to the ground. He's bigger than me. I pinned him down to the ground. I got on top of him. I pinned his hands together, and he got one free. He pop hit me. I said, "Don't do that again." And he got it free again. He hit me again, and I just wailed on him. And I got up, and then all my friends and the people from the studio just grabbed me and just rushed me out. Took me outside, and then the next day at my job, I told my boss, I said, dude, I got in a fight at this club last night. Should I talk to the police? He said, no. He says, don't worry about it. If the police want to contact you, they will. And then when I found out later, especially during that time, you can fight in China, and the cops don't want to have nothing to do with it. And they'll let you fight it out as long as nobody gets seriously hurt. You can throw down. The second fight I got into was a little bit more scary. We had just finished our class, and this is already working for another studio at this time.
Yeah.
And my co-teacher during that time, this a little short, petite Chinese girl named Eileen, and she had an African boyfriend. And they like to go, and the club owner, she was a girl named Yuki. She was Chinese, but her name was Yuki. And they like to go to the boom, boom club, you know, one of those thumb clubs. So we would go, and then, I don't know if I should tell her whole story, but you guys don't know her, so it's fine.
No, you don't have to tell if you don't want.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
Eileen did something that made her boyfriend angry.
Okay.
And so he started wilding out and everything. He did something to piss off the bodyguards. So we were leaving, and we couldn't find him anywhere. Next thing I know, he was running down the street, and all these like 8 bodyguards were chasing him. And they caught up to him, and they started pounding on him. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, I can't let this go down, but there's 8 dudes there. So I jumped in, I grabbed one dude from the back, started pulling him up, and he started calling his buddies to come and help him. And I kicked one, punched this one, started running. That was enough to get them off of him, and I jumped in the taxi, bounced. That was it.
Yeah, you're like, they now have the signs that say like, do not fight. If the police get you, then you're going to jail. You'll be in jail for a minute. Yeah, it's changed a lot.
But in those days, you can squab and nobody bother you, know.
This was like, that would have been what, that'd have been back in 2015-ish or earlier.
Yeah, but before the rules changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to.
That's been a while ago.
You know, some of the rules they'll make that they don't enforce.
Yeah.
You know? And actually, the cops here they just want to be. They just want to be left alone. They don't want to interfere with stuff. And it's like I said, if you're not doing anything terribly wrong, they won't bother you. And the cool thing about here is, you know, like since I started driving, there's no cops, there's no CHP that's going to chase you. You never have to worry about looking over your. Yeah,
there's no rear view mirrors looking at you getting chased.
You don't have to worry about
none of that.
You know, but they do have CCTVs following you.
Right.
You know, and they have drones following you.
Right.
You know, so if you're doing stuff, they'll just record you, and they'll put the point system on your driver's license. Right. You know, like I think it's 12 points and you're done.
And I think, like you said, was so accurate. Like if there was an issue with if you were just to beat that guy up, you know, and have no basis or no reason to be doing such,
right,
they could easily have that on video footage, and they'd follow up with you and say, yeah,
come after you later. But the guy was bigger than me, so I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah. You know. Yeah, no, I hear you on that. That's interesting for people back home just to understand that China's just like any other place, you know,
right.
in terms of that.
People and bad people you have, but mostly it's been good, you know.
Yeah.
It's been a really good ride here, and I guess. And you were asking me earlier, saying, "What are my future plans?"
Yeah, do you see yourself staying long term?
It's hard to say. You know, I've taken my wife back to LA several times, and she loves LA. She loves the weather. She loves the ocean. She loves the people. She loves that there's so many different things to do. She loves the food too. She really likes Jack in the Box. Go figure.
Jack in the Box.
I mean, I'm a In-N-Out type of guy, but and fat burgers, but she loves Jack in the Box. So it's hard to say. My brother has a very nice house in Carson, and so whenever we go to LA, we always stay with him because if we stay in a hotel, he what, my house ain't good enough? Like one of those type of dudes. He's got 5 bedrooms, so we always stayed with him, and she loves his house. He has a backyard and a front yard. In China, it's almost impossible.
Right.
Unless you live in the village, which her parents live in the village, so small village. But we live in the city. We own our home, and it's a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom loft. It's a really nice home. It's very modern. It's very comfortable, but it's nothing like having a backyard.
Right.
And she loves animals, so if we lived in LA and bought a home there, she'll be able to have dogs, and she'll be able to grow vegetables, which she loves doing all that stuff, So it's hard to say. It depends.
So LA might be in the future.
It might be in the future, depending on the leadership during that time.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. It depends on a few things,
And then what about like daily life things? Like for living in China for so long, I guess that's, 12, 14 years-ish that you've been here?
14 years. Next year will be 15 years, man. Wow.
You were supposed to be here a year.
I was supposed to be here a year, and time just boom, boom, boom.
It flies.
Flies by, man.
What type of for people who are back in the States, they're wondering about things like healthcare, like transportate, like banking, like all of the daily life stuff. Like how do you are you worried at all about that kind of thing?
Interesting that you brought that up, because I just had a health scare recently. I got an infection in this thyroid just kept growing and growing and growing. It got huge, like the size of what's that fruit called? The yellow one.
Like a mango?
Yeah, about the size of a mango.
Wow.
It was huge, man. It was like huge.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what caused it, so I had to go to the hospital, and I had to go every day for about 2 weeks. Do you know what my bill was? You want to take
I know what it'd be in the U.S.
Yeah.
Every day for 2 weeks, you said? Oh, it'd be $100 grand. It'd be $100 grand.
At least. My bill, I don't want to bother her. She keeps hiding. But I think we paid out of pocket 5,000 renminbi,
RMB.
which is
less
less
than $1,000, like $800.
Yeah, And that was including a
Biopsy, where they actually go in and...
Yeah, where they took a piece of it out and to see what it was. Turns out it was just an infection.
And you're all good.
I'm all good. We think the infection was caused from beard dye, because now getting some white in my beard, and that maybe changed their product, their chemicals, or I don't want to say recipe, but whatever, they put something different in, because I started getting irritating. And then it caused me to have this problem. But now I had to go to the hospital, and they would do IV drip, which China's very famous for. It directly goes to the source of the problem. And so I went to do IV drip every day and did some testing and everything, and you see it's gone. Everything's fine now.
Yeah, you look great.
Thank you. But the best thing about it is the cost was minimal, and if we can do that here.
Why can't we do it back there?
Exactly.
Why can't we do that back home?
Right.
What was the wait time? So like the one complaint I have about the States is you might have an issue like that, and they're like, oh yeah, schedule an appointment, it'll be a month. Right. To see the specialist.
No,
you can get your
here.
pediatrician, but
come on, man. Here we just walk into the hospital. I remember the longest wait I had to do was sit there maybe for about 30 minutes to an hour, something like that,
So you basically started the process right away, same day. Once you noticed you're like, okay, this issue is too serious.
First we were trying to take medicine, and that didn't help, and then we would say, okay, let's go see the doctor. We saw a doctor. The doctor gave me medicine, and it was like, nah. And my wife ain't no joke, man. She went up in there and said, no, you got to let me see the top doctor. I want to see the top doctor. Because there's a lot of young doctors.
Oh, yeah.
And so, eventually we made an appointment with the big doctor, but during that time, while we were waiting for the big doctor, we were still seeing other doctors during that, for this and for that, for this, for that. Because they were saying, oh, it might be the tooth, or it might be this, it might be that. But no, we never had to schedule an appointment and wait a month, nothing like that. We just go to the hospital and just get it done. All that stuff got done the same day.
And then did the doctor help you actually find out that it was probably the beard cream? Is that something that they ended up causing?
Yeah, because they found that it was an infection, and the infection was caused by a foreign substance that was introduced into my skin. And when I was using that stuff, it was irritating my skin, and it actually dried up my skin, and it broke open the skin, and some of it got inside, and that's what caused it.
But in the United States, you know what I mean? They're not going to tell you hey, take all this medication. We don't know what's causing it. Keep on going.
And unless you have really good, super good insurance back home. My brother has some of the best insurance, and they were just trying to scoot him out the door. And then later, when they found out his insurance was really top notch, they was like, "Come back in, Mr. Allen."
Right, we'll keep billing your insurance.
Yeah, he was like, "Get out of here. I'm done with you guys." So yeah.
And the reason I mention that is the problem is if you don't know the root cause, you're still putting on the beard cream. You got an issue again. And,
right.
You know.
No, my wife said, "Don't use that shit anymore. Just go ahead and shave." And she said, "I like he looks better shaving." So
I'm glad you got it all resolved. Yeah, you look great, man.
Out, man. Thank you, bro. So do you, man.
That's
you look
great.
good,
No, I'm just trying to look like you.
Try to learn some salsa dancing and you be closer to it.
If I can get the salsa, the etiquette, I might get somewhere. You never know.
You'll be all right. You're doing fine.
Shoot, no. So, what do you if you left China for LA? What would you miss about China? What would you miss the most here?
The people, the safety, I would miss definitely the people, man. I mean, the people here are just it's really so awesome. You know, I mean, they just want to be peaceful. You know, they just want to be chill. They just want to live their normal life, raise their kids, raise their family, and have a good life. You know, that's what everybody's about here. No, for the most part, what I haven't seen is a lot of people racist. You know, a lot of racism. I haven't seen a lot of that. I haven't seen cops don't look at you and like profile you. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to worry about somebody not giving me a job because I'm black. I got jobs because I'm black, because I'm black American, because, you know, they want to know more where you're from. And, you know, still, you know, there's a tier system as far as countries goes. But still, America's still the top of the tier.
Agree.
Even with our problems.
Agree.
And even with our way that we treat China, even with our way that we portray China in our media, Chinese still look up to America as top tier. And then maybe the UK next, and then I don't know who's next after that. Canada, Australia, who knows? Europe's places in Europe, but America's still looked up to, and everybody wants to send their kids to America. And so we being American, we get, you know, a little bit kind of like the red carpet treatment to a certain degree. We get invited to places to host events, to it's been kind of weird because sometimes we get invited to places and they'll say, your husband's American, right? Bring him. You know,
Oh man.
You know, bring him and don't bring too many other Chinese. Like, it feels weird. It's like,
Right.
You know, I'm sure you might have seen something like that too. But because you're American, and then you're a foreigner, you get a little bit few extra privileges.
Yeah.
And some things thrown your way, which are kind of nice. And you get a little bit, oftentimes, better treatment than they treat their own sometimes. And that feels kind of wrong. But at the same time, it's just how the culture is. So for me, if I were to leave China, I would very much miss the people and some of the people that have become like family members to me, to us. We've had some students over to our home and had dinner together because they become, and not just only Chinese people. You know, China's become multicultural. I have people now that I call family from Russia, from the Ukraine, people that I call family from Hong Kong, from Australia. You know, especially being in this business, we meet people from all over the world. I have called my sister in Ghana. You know, Christine, if you're out there, you see this, what's up? I miss you. From Kenya, from Nigeria, from the Congo. We have students from all these places, from Zimbabwe, from South Africa, from France, from Spain, Colombia, Peru. I could keep going. And from Israel, I'll tell you a quick story. We had a student who was touring from Israel. So he's a professor. So he came here to do some lectures. And I have a friend who's a really good dancer. His name is, I don't want to say his name, but he's from Lebanon. Mm. And so he finally showed up, and he showed up with a couple of friends. One was from Iran, and another one's from Palestine. And the lady from Israel showed up that day, so they were all together. And and I was like, well, maybe they won't.
You're like, how's this interaction going to
Yeah,
go?
I
You're
was
just like, oh
I was
no.
like, maybe they don't, won't know where each other's from.
Yeah.
But my friend from Lebanon asked her, so where are you from?
Where are you from?
She said, Israel. And I was like, oh, it's going to be. But as the class went on, they're just dancing together and laughing together and like nothing.
Yeah, it's normally not the citizens. It's
right.
not the,
It's never
the
us,
root
it's never
citizens.
the people. It's
Yeah.
always our governments, man, that's causing all this shit between us. So it was a cool interaction, and to watch these guys get along with each other. And it was by happenstance, because he actually sent me a message that says, Mike, I'm going to come to your studio, and I'm going to bring a couple of friends. And I didn't see the message till I got to the studio. And I was like, oh, what's going on?
You're like, oh.
But it was very cool. It was, and
Yeah, that's
how
awesome.
it should be,
Yeah.
man. That's how it should be. I mean, we are not our government, man. I mean,
Right.
we get along well with each other. We find something common, some common denominator between us, something that brings us together. We don't have a beef, and they didn't have a beef. They just danced and had a good time under this flag of salsa dancing. So it's like very nice.
Flag of salsa dancing.
Right.
Yep.
It was cool, man. Afro-Latin dance, That's another thing in misconception. I want to cover this really quick.
No.
Salsa dancing, the roots are from Africa. Okay,
Yeah.
I know we call it Latin dance, but the roots are from Africa, and it's actually a mix of African and Black American mix. What happened was the Afro-Cubans came to New York, and they mixed their music with Harlem jazz. Now Harlem jazz is black, and Afro-Cubans were black. And there was one guy, especially by the name of Mario Balza. He was Afro-Cuban, and he mixed with Chick Webbs and Dizzy Gillespie, and they mixed the music together. And the salsa music that we hear today comes from that blending, okay, of the Afro-Cuban rhythms mixed with the Harlem jazz. Why do we call it Latin music? Marketing, and a thing that we black people tend to do. We tend to create something amazing like blues, jazz, and then we abandon it, and then other cultures come, they pick it up, and they run with it. And the same thing with salsa. So the Puerto Ricans came and they said, oh, you guys don't want this? We'll take it.
So this is
Take
good.
it. Yeah. And the Puerto Ricans took it and flourished it. If not for the Puerto Ricans, man, salsa already would have been dead a long time ago. And they rebranded it. They started calling it salsa. Before that, Mario Balza was calling that Afro-Cuban music. And they had different names, mambo, all these different things for it. But so now we call it salsa, and it's gone into the category of Latin. So a lot of people think, and I'll never forget this. I remember I just told you about the 3rd Street Promenade where we used to dance on the street. And we were wrapping up that night, and there was this black girl, maybe around 12, 13 years old. She came to me and she says, are you Latino? Are you Hispanic? I says, not as far as I know, And she says, why do you dance to their music? I says, our music too, And I had to explain that to her, and she didn't know that. A lot of people don't know it. So if she didn't know, a lot of people don't know that. So it's important to know that this is partly belongs to us as well as it does belong to the Latino community. It belongs also to the black community, and everybody should know that.
The history is so important, yeah.
Really?
And I did not know that until you mentioned it. So
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of teachers not teaching their students the history that goes along with the lifestyle that you're introducing them to. So
and a lot of students who don't pay attention. So
That's
I'll raise
true.
my hand on that one.
That's true.
I'm one of the bad ones for paying attention to history. So that's where I need to be a little bit better.
Well, we all do. We all do.
So class here is actually going to be starting soon, here in about a half hour at the
Yeah,
studio.
you need to go
so
get something to eat, don't you?
in a minute, but I'm actually so excited to talk about your studio. I want to go for a little bit longer on just the studio itself. So
Okay.
you run class at a variety of different times throughout the
Right.
week.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as the studio goes, the students are about to roll in.
Yeah.
For people who have never tried salsa, give them the
Like
elevator
you?
pitch, like myself, right? I told you over when I asked you about the interview, I was like, hey, you want to be on the podcast? And you even mentioned, hey, you should try salsa. And I said, I got no rhythm whatsoever. What advice do you have for somebody who comes to Hangzhou and they're like, I don't have any rhythm. They're like me.
Okay, I'm going to surprise you with this fact. I also had no rhythm, okay? Even though I grew up, we used to be in a part of a group called the Popping Patrol. Now, they put me in because my cousin was an amazing dancer. I was not an amazing dancer. I was just there to support my cousin. I had no rhythm, no skills in dancing, none of that stuff. I would skip the high school dances because I was embarrassed to be a black kid who couldn't dance. It's not about two left feet. It's not about skills and talent. It's about repetition. It's about repetition and muscle memory. That's what it is. The same way you learn how to drive a car, the same way you learn how to play your sport, the same way you learn how to do whatever it is you do. When you go to work, whatever it is you do, you go into a repetitious mode. Dancing's the same way. We don't teach you how to dance. We teach you muscle memory. We teach you a certain cadence that you repeat over and over again till your body starts to understand it without thinking. And we train you that way so that later you become a dancer. So, and then as we build on top of that, we start introducing you to the polyrhythms of salsa, because I can't find the beat, I can't hear the beat. Salsa has polyrhythms. This is going this, and this is doing that. The conga is doing this, the clave is doing this, and the guido is doing this. How do you find it? We use a lot of crossover music, salsa remix. So you have popular songs that have salsa version. So you can find the beat in these popular songs, a Tupac song, you can find the beat. There's a salsa Tupac remix. You can find a beat in Lady Gaga song. There's a Lady Gaga remix. I don't know if you saw the Super Bowl halftime show with Bad Bunny. But,
Yeah.
Okay, so you had Lady Gaga on there. They did a remix. They did of one popular song. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's a popular pop song, and they did a salsa remix of it. So we do that because it helps to help you find the beat. The thing is, what you need to have is a desire. You know, you just have to have something, a desire that makes you say, when you see salsa dancing or when you hear the music, say, "Ooh, I like that." When I got into salsa dancing, it was kind of by accident. I used to go to the hip hop club, but my best friend's name was Carlos, and he's from Colombia. And he would say, "Michael, let's go to the salsa club." So we would drive up I can't remember the name of the club. It was on La Brea Boulevard, and there was a salsa club, and there was a huge band, because in LA we have a lot of salsa bands. So I remember walking in, and there was like 9 guys on the stage, all playing and singing and horns. And I was like, whoa. And then these people just moving and just flowing on the dance floor. I was like, it's like mesmerizing. I was like, wow, and they're all beautiful, and they're all just looking so confident, just and in harmony with the music. And then these girls just ran up, Carlos, and like, holy shit, it's like that. You don't even have to ask a girl to dance. And after that, I was like, okay, I'm hooked. And then I remember that was the first time. And then I remember I was coming out of court to pay a ticket, and I ran into this guy. His name was Johnny Polanco. And he says, "Do you want to buy one of my CDs?" I said, "What kind of music?" He says, "I do salsa music." I says, "Okay." And because it was just like a few weeks later. So it's like something's kind of guiding me there. You know, we had those moments. And I put a CD in. Those days we were listening to CDs.
Yeah, you got the CD, you got the disc changer. Was it a disc changer?
Disc changer on there. And I listened to it, and I was like, yeah, I like this. At this time, I had no idea that salsa music had African roots. I had no idea. I just knew that it was moving me. It felt good. I loved the music. I loved the feeling of it. I took a class, and that time the class was with Ali Ramirez and Alex Da Silva, and I couldn't keep up. And I took it again. I couldn't keep up. I was like, this is something I can't do. It's impossible. A year later, I went back because of the music. I was still listening to it, and Carlos was still dragging me to salsa clubs. And there was a dance studio called the Dance Family. I like the way that sounds. And they just baby stepped you through all the stuff. And I was still struggling. For me, it took about 6 months before I started to feel comfortable. But in LA, you have plenty of time, plenty of opportunities to dance and practice. So you go to this club, you go to this club, and there's this band, there's free events. There's LACMA, there's the Puerto Rican Festival, there's the Cuban Festival, there's all these different events. There's Downtown LA Music Festival, there's Santa Monica Music Festival. So you have plenty of places to go and dance. It's a big dance culture, and you have plenty of people who encourages you. You know, you can go dancing with, you can ask a girl to dance, and she'll say yeah, and if you suck, she'll still dance with you. She might not dance with you again,
It's not like New York now. It's not like New York.
New York, my God. Even Alian was saying, one of our teachers, he was saying, New York, you guys got to chill your egos because you're turning people off
Turning them off.
From the dancing, yeah.
And then your studio here, it's more beginner friendly, right?
It's very beginner friendly, and we don't really even have levels. What I do here is I see who shows up, and I base my classes based off of who shows up, and I make it comfortable for everybody to learn.
Awesome.
And I push you, and I challenge you just a little bit to see how far I can take you, But like I said, we train based off of muscle memory and repetition, okay? And I introduce you to the music later, and then I sent you home with some music. I put music in the group for you to listen to. And I don't beat you up over finding the timing, being perfect with the timing. That comes later. All that stuff comes later. And then we have a rule in LA where I pass down to my students here for the females. Whatever timing he's on, that's the timing you're on. You follow his timing. He might be dancing to the song that hasn't been played yet. You just follow his timing. We have another rule for the guys, 2 rules for the guys. You can dance with a lady. You protect her at all costs because salsa is a sport, and when there's elbows flying, there's high heel stomping, there's people can get hurt. So you protect her at all costs, number 1. The second rule is you make her look good. You make her shine on the dance floor. You don't embarrass her. You make sure that she looks comfortable. You don't give her moves that she can't follow. You always dance to your partner's level. So that way we have etiquette. And if your partner gets hurt, you walk her off the dance floor, you go to the bar, you get some ice, and you help her apply it. We do all these things to make everybody feel good on the dance floor. And usually there's no problems. And if there is a problem, we all support each other. We all back each other up. Some weird person being weird, we all there let them know, hey, take it easy. If there's people we call rompers on the dance floor, taking up the whole dance floor, being crazy, we all let them know, have fun, but calm down. Respect the dance floor for everybody. We always practice etiquette, and we always look out for each other. I remember there was one time one of our students got sick after the class, and it was like 2 or 3 students that took her to the hospital and stayed with her. So we're like that. This is cohesive family. This how, and especially in a country where you might be a foreigner, you don't have your family here, you need this. You need people to look after you and actually care for you, not just, oh, give me your money and here's some dance lessons and go dance now. No, it's not like that. We look out for each other. We care for each other, especially my wife. My gosh, he really gets attached. And the hard thing is, we have students coming from all around the world. So when they leave and they go back to their country, she really heard about that. We have a student, he's from Zimbabwe, and then he left to go make more money in Japan. And she was this close to crying. She loved this guy so much. He's such an amazing student. He's a really good guy. And he even has a girlfriend here. So they both became excellent tango dancers because we also teach Argentine tango. So I thought because, he's from Africa, he could hear the rhythm, he dances really good salsa, that he would fall in love with salsa. But no, he ended up loving tango more.
Wow.
So yeah, him and his girlfriend, they became really amazing tango dancers. So yeah, you never know, man.
You never know.
You never know.
Well, guys, Mike, I love it because you're such a real dude.
Thank you.
So it's like, guys, if you're
Kung Fu Colin.
Yeah, if you're coming to Hangzhou, and it's just like, first thing, you might just need a friend. Where it's like, book a class, meet with Mike and Ivy, have some fun, relax. That's a great way to start your trip.
Right.
And then 2, if you've got the ear for salsa and you're looking to enjoy some salsa, come on over to the studio.
Salsa, bachata, kizomba, tango, Latin. We even have Zumba classes here now. My God, we also have locking for kids. So yeah, we got a little bit.
If you want to dance, yeah.
If you want to make friends, because I would say my teacher taught me when I was getting my certification, he said that about 80 to 85% of people come to dance classes to meet other people because they feel it's hard for them to make friends. And they don't care so much about the dancing, they care more about making friends. We have that too. It's about that too. Maybe the 15% care about dancing and maybe 5% want to be really good dancers. But we're going to make you a good dancer. We're going to make sure you have good friends. People take care of you as well.
That's incredible. Yeah. So guys, definitely worth stopping by. And that's the thing with China being such a huge cultural shock.
Right. You need
Come make some friends.
Right.
So guys, as always, hopefully this is helpful and it shows you a side of China you wouldn't otherwise see or hear. Cheers. See you guys.